I said to Philip, I want SAP data and search for it in Elastic. So what we did is we made a connector and did all the things which we need to do to bring SAP data into Elastic, to make it searchable like you have seen it before. A word to myself, I'm 22 years of SAP knowledge. So I'm in the SAP business for quite some time. I don't know Elastic. And what we did is we first asked us, okay, why should we bring SAP data to Elastic? And the answer for me is because I have more data sources, not only SAP. Yeah? And when I think of putting data into Elastic, I think first of the SAP database. It doesn't matter if it's HANA or not. And then I also want to bring documents, like from the SAP archive. If I want to search for an invoice, I could search for the database tables and also for the document. So what we did at the end is we made up an architecture to bring SAP data, which is still ERP, which is still SQL data. It's a relational database. Even HANA is a relational database. Yeah, the structure is about the same. And what we do is we bring it first to an application server, which is a standard web server. We store the data there, and from there we bring it to Elastic. And then we can use the data with all the features what Elastic offers us. In SAP, we don't have JSON default, yeah? So, and Elastic needs JSON data. So what we need to do is we need to get data out of SAP in a JSON format. Yeah? Because what you then put into Elastic is a JSON document. So what we have seen yesterday, we could use the OData services, yeah, for getting data in JSON format. But my company, BPO Consulting, is doing a SAP connector for quite a while, yeah, for 15 years. And what this connector does, it is, well, how it is made of, it's programmed in ABAP, yeah. And the core functionality which we are using here for this loading of Elastic is we can provide any SAP function module as JSON REST API or as XML service, what you like. In this case, we need the JSON thing. And so what we do is we program SAP function modules and bring this data first to the application server and then put it into Elastic to make it searchable. I will show you then also on the system. Hopefully it works, yeah. But to be safe on the slides, we have a function module and we see the SAP data as objects. So we think of a material as an object, of a vendor, of a customer, of a sales order, an invoice. This is all an object. It's stored in different database tables, we know, and what we do is we collect this together into an object, which is in principle a collection of database tables. Okay, so I hurry on a bit.
50. Ja, 15.
Okay. So I have only a few slides left. and I will show you on the system that you see that it is really working. What we have is the connector transforms the function module into a JSON REST API, which we can call outside, and that's what we do. At the end, we use a web server to call SAP on one side, get the data from SAP to the web server. We store it in a database, yeah, to keep it safe, yeah, and then we push it into Elastic using Logstash. Yeah, that's a tool from Elastic for putting data into it. And for the front end, yeah, you can use Kibana, what we have seen before, and also you can write your own web application. So that's how it looks. And that's Kibana. And that's one of our own applications. It's a search client. It's programmed with HTML5. We are using Vue.js, yeah, because it's, let's say, it's slimmer, newer than other things like UI5. We are also doing UI5 frameworks. Yeah, UI5 apps, you can also do this. And what we also do is we integrate this into the SAP GUI, yeah, so that you can really search in SAP and get your data out of Elastic and put it into your SAP GUI commands. So I'll show you how it looks. Let's start on the SAP side. This is the PO connector. You have to set up a service, a JSON REST API. You don't have to do much. All you have to do is you have to give it a name. The name is the service, and then you either it's an inbound or outbound. In this case, we're using inbound, so we're calling from outside to SAP. And here we only have to tell what function module in principle has to be called. And how it looks like, I have not tested this before, is when I go onto my machine, yeah, that's my SAP machine in this case, with a handler, which is an SICM, normal handler, and then it's the PO connector, and the operation is then my function module. Yeah. I have the JSON load, where I say, okay, what material do I want to get? Basic authentication, yeah, to SAP, and okay, let's call it. Okay, so
Anmeldung. Username, password.
There you go. So somebody has changed my name. Don't look so. Okay. So I see, I get the data, and when I talk about data, we call it all an object. So we have standardized the view of an object. It looks always the same, and only then the contents is different. Like I have the client, the material number, and so on. Yeah. And this data now we do only a little transformation now, and we put it into Elastic. And in Elastic, so let's have a look. This okay, it's there. A lot of things starting. I want to go to Kibana. That's what I expected. Yeah, one word about Elastic. When you install Elastic, there's no security on it. So you can read in the newspaper, in the internet, about many cases where somebody sets up an Elastic server and then all the data is gone. So there's no authorization, yeah, accessing Elastic. by default. So please secure your Elastic Stack. Yeah, which is the one now. And I'll show you how it looks like then. What we can see then in Elastic is indices. Yeah, it's an index then. So we have an index for. I don't have the index here for material. It's not loaded yet, but I have an index for customer, for vendor, for invoice, and so on. Yeah. Which is, let's have a look on the vendor. It doesn't find anything because the date is always very important. It's only the last 15 days. And so I say, okay, 150 years should be enough. And you can see, okay, I have 1,797 data sets in it, and the data set is the JSON what we have seen before. This is the data. And so what I can do now from a front end, I can search in my SAP data. When I search for Muller, let's try. I didn't find anything. If I did I also not find, let me see.
Can you make it slightly larger? It's very hard.
Control plus einfach größer machen.
Okay. It's good that you didn't see it because I didn't find anything. Let's see what do we have. 9.0 and this is okay. Okay. So I found now exactly one data set, out of my data sets, and now I could use all the different tricks and things what Elastic provides me. What if I need to develop it, I go on the development tools. What you have seen before. There's the SAP FI when you go with vendor. Okay, we say we search on the vendor. Let's make it a little bigger. I search for my username. Okay, that's easy. And okay, I found, in this case, I found how many hits? Total 5 hits. And so I can search my SAP data in Elastic. Let's go back last time to SAP. And if I go on materials, okay, so let's use this thing. I have my material master, and what we do is in the search help, we start a browser window, and when I search material master, okay, I search for something, we call the Elastic engine, and then okay, I can select the material and bring it back into the SAP GUI screen. The disadvantage or the problems with this screen is when we open the HTML viewer in the SAP GUI is that this is the Internet Explorer 11, which is rendered, which is doing the rendering and the JavaScript engine. So when we develop this, we have to reduce the functionality and to test it so that it works also in here 11 in Internet Explorer 11. The outlook, what we do is currently we load the SAP database into Elastic. what you can also do very nicely with Elastic, you can load documents, yeah, all sorts of documents, so Word documents, PDFs, and you can do, when you index this into Elastic, you can do OCR scanning, so you get really full text search in Elastic with all your data you want. Yeah? You can have your SAP data from the database, you can put data from your network drive into it, into different indices, you will put it, and you can do a search on both of it.
How is it with archive link data?
Yeah, you have to retrieve it. With archive link has normally a URL, a HTTP interface. You get it out. If you need to OCR it, you really need the document, and then you store in Elastic. It's automatically done. Yeah, they are using Apache Tika and all standard things. Okay, questions? Other questions?
How do you update your search index? Do you do that on a regular basis, or do you also trigger real-time index?
We do it on a regular basis.
Okay.
With
I think we should talk because we have some real-time possibilities. You said you look for Elasticsearch because you can combine multiple data sources. But have you tested the T-Rex functionality, which is in the embedded search case also license-free for SAP customers?
No, I haven't tested. I know T-Rex from some customers. Yeah, they are using it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the reason for me putting it to Elastic is also there are two things. Yeah, one thing is that you can put any data sources into Elastic, and the other thing is the price tag. Yeah, because Elastic, I don't know how many downloads a year do we have.
I think we've broken like 200 million or so overall, 250 million overall.
So 250 million downloads of Elastic. Yeah, you can download it right away. Yeah, and you're up and running in 1 minute. And so I think last year, 2017, there were 25 million or 50 million downloads, so huge number. Yeah. So that's the difference for me. Yeah.
Okay, one question is, because most of the SAP data relies heavily on customizing values. So I assume you want to be able to search for the text corresponding to some customizing value, but in your actual data you only have the code.
Yeah.
Do you have this, using these synonyms, can you use it in this scenario as well, or do you have some approach?
No, the solution for us is, for example, when we look on the vendor data, what we do is when we index it, we also index the address to each data set. So, but there's no option for combining two data sets. So you really would have to do it in your client, that you first look for, let's say, for your sales organizations, and then you search for sales organization plus names.
Shouldn't you then maybe get the customizing metadata into the documents when you're creating it? Because then you have the snapshot exact at this time, what this 001 means.
But then you have the same data.
Yeah, but Elastic doesn't care about. So the solution is index it into the document. But it's a lot of data which has metadata behind it. So where do you start and finish? Is here really the question. Yeah. Do you also have the names and the values and other values, and so it's. But it's as you have seen, it's a structured document. So make a new structure. What we also do is we read also long texts out of SAP. You know, long texts are a little strangely stored in SAP. So you get it out, and it's no problem to index it into Elastic.
Okay. Any more questions?
So what's the delay between creating a new record in the SAP database and the ability to search for this record with your search?
That depends on your setting. Because the architecture right now is that we pull it out from SAP and then push it to Elastic. And that is the question, how often does this run? Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a job,
It's like a job
schedule, once every 2 weeks.